boy. So, while my head knows that the Kings are not making the playoffs, I've known that really for quite some time, but the game against the Blues really sealed it last night. My heart has a really hard time getting to that point as well. So when the Kings give me like little glimmers of hope that maybe they can pull off some kind of miracle and they're going to do something come April or mid-April or gosh, even June. Yeah, they squish it and stomp on it and basically make me want to cry. It's kind of like Joss Whedon. I love him, but he has a tendency to make me care about something very, very deeply, characters or whatever, and then do something to them that literally makes me feel like he's taken his hand inside my chest, pulled at my heart, and squished on it a couple of thousand times and then tried to put it back. The fact that I love him really probably explains a lot about me as a Kings fan. Nonetheless, we're playing Arizona, a team that we should be absolutely crushing. We've played them 4 times already this season, won the first 3 times pretty easily. Last time, though, was another one of those games where you're like, guys, it's Arizona. This should be like a pretty easy 2 points, right? And then we lost 3-5. So I'm not really sure where I'm surprised that we ended up losing today. Except that, again, that stupid little glimmer of hope that I keep getting from the Kings. And why do they do this to me? Just flat out suck if you're going to do this. I'm sure if they actually did that, I'd be just as disappointed and have much more to complain about. Until then, they pretended to be good. The first period, truthfully, was super dull and boring. There was like 1 power play that the Kings didn't really do anything with, and that was about it. As far as exciting plays go, Adrian Kempe was really good. He created a lot of chances. Dustin Brown was doing exactly what I wanted him to do and was going straight to the net and just like planting himself there in front of their goalie, whose name I'm not even going to try and pronounce because I have a cold and my head is just fuzzy. Anyway, Drew Doughty, of course, is being Drew Doughty, and one day he's going to get really fed up with his team, and it's going to be a very, very sad day. So we have Ben Bishop in nets. He is still looking for his first win as a King, and I don't think I'm going to blame any of those losses on him. I feel so bad for the guy by the end of tonight. We get to the second period. We open it, essentially with a power play. It's like 47 seconds into it. The Kings have the man advantage, which, shockingly enough, they do nothing with. But a couple of minutes after that, Tyler Toffoli, back in form, does exactly what I have been screaming at Kings to do pretty much all season. This is not unfamiliar to those of you who follow me frequently. He was at the front of the net, and he got a rebound. Yay! The Kings got a rebound. It was really beautiful because their goalie was just like flat on his chest, and Tyler was unattended, literally in front of the goal, like center, and just super, super easy for him to get that puck in. So that was nice. Toffoli was off to a really good start there. And then the Coyotes kind of came back a little bit, and Bishop came up really, really big many times, like more times than I was really comfortable with, actually, because they shouldn't be getting that many good shots off. There were a lot of rebounds that they were taking advantage of that I felt we should have been cleaned up a little bit more. But for the most part, like, Bishop was really sharp. He could pretty much see the puck all the time, and when he could, he always had something in place. The guy's like 6'7", so it's actually probably not difficult for him to cover a lot of the net. But he was making really good glove saves, really good pad saves, and I'm really sharp. Unfortunately, at the other end, it's not so much that their goalie was sharp, it's just that, this thing the Kings do where they make other goalies look really, really good, and that's what they continue to do for the rest of the second period. So slightly frustrating when Bishop is standing there, and I think this is the third period at this point, and there's kind of a rush at the net, and it seems like the puck from Arizona manages to find every single, space that the Kings have left through their defense and through the 6'7" Ben Bishop, and it finds the back of the net, and we're tied 1-1, and you're just sitting there thinking, how is this possible? The Coyotes are not very good, and we had, in a very similar way to how we ended up losing to the Blues, about 40 shots on goal and only 1 goal to show for it. That's not good, to put it politely and simply. Yeah, so the Kings were not getting quality scoring chances, clearly. And things were coming down to the wire, and we're just looking around, and we're all sitting here like, dear God, we're going to give up 1 stupid goal and lose this game. This is ridiculous. How are we not slaughtering them? And then one of their players did us a huge favor by taking a penalty with about 2.5 minutes left to go. Not an ideal time to take a penalty. And for us, it looked like the ideal amount of time to steal the game away and not give them enough time to do anything about it. This is what we thought. Now, the power play for the Kings had not been great this evening. Unsurprising. It hasn't really been great the last couple of games. But Tyler Toffoli gets his 2nd of the evening by making a beautiful play on the power play. And it's like 1.5 minutes left to go. Literally 1.5 minutes. And you're like, okay, well, we got this now, guys. 2-1. Oh, I actually felt bad for the Coyotes. For about 30 seconds, I was like, oh, that's a really rough time to take a penalty, and this poor goaltender has been so good. It must be so hard to lose it with that little amount of time left, because you can't really, and then sure enough at the other end. Oh my God. I wanted to scream. I did scream very inappropriate things that I shall not put online here. Because at about 50 seconds to go, we have what should have been an empty net goal, putting us 3-1. Instead, we ice it. They call a timeout, and with 44 seconds to go, they win the faceoff and they score a goal. 44 seconds. Guys, we had 1.5 minutes to defend our net, and we couldn't do it. Oh my God, it was so unbelievably frustrating. Like I said, I just felt so terrible for Ben Bishop. The poor guy has been standing on his head all night, and all he asks is for us to score a little bit for him. And maybe, pick up a little bit of defense in front of him. So we go into overtime. The first thing the Kings do is literally fall over on the faceoff. So you knew it was going to be good from there. Got a couple of chances, but we have this tendency to shoot right into the goalie's chest, and I will never understand why this is a strategy. Like, he has weak spots, guys. Middle of his chest, not going to be one of them. So they got a couple of good chances too, and Ben Bishop does everything he can possibly do to get 2 points for the Kings and get his first win as a King, and he wants it so bad, and he's playing his ass off, and we end up in a shootout, and I have all 11 rounds of the shootout on film, but it's just gonna make you depressed to watch them, because what you're gonna see is the Kings do a really good thing when Jeff Carter comes up there. First shot, first goal, awesome. Except that Bishop then lets in that one down the other end. So we bring up a couple more players, and they do exactly the same thing, essentially. They basically take the same shot, and it's not the one that Carter took, which was top shelf. It's basically the same move, and he's not fallen for it at any point. And so Bishop's down the other end making, what I said, 11-round shootout. He didn't save the first one, so he made 9 saves in a row trying to do something, and all he asks is for somebody to do something in the shootouts. But in true LA Kings fashion, they don't make quality goals. They win on the quantity of their shots. And in a shootout, that's not going to work. You don't get to clean up your own rebound and try and shoot it again. So we get to round 11. Random trivia fact, Martin Jones' first game with the LA Kings back in 2014 was in Anaheim. The score was 2-2 going into overtime, and he ended up winning in a 9-round shootout where Dwight King of all people, was the one who scored the shootout winner. So Dwight King's gone, Martin Jones is gone, doing his best to win the Sharks a Stanley Cup. Oh. And we are left here with Ben Bishop standing on his head and nobody else. I mean, at one point I'm like, dude, is he gonna put Quick out there to shoot? Because this is not working, what they're doing. So the Kings end up getting just 1 point. They're now even further behind in the playoff race than they were. And like I said, their competition has pretty easy rides of it, and we don't. So, like I said last night, farewell playoffs. It was nice while I had hope. And I'll probably start again with hope, on Thursday. But, yeah. Until then, there's some Chris Sutter Gantz cam. So, we always leave it on a positive note.